called The Motherless, Fatherless Child. This reading does not have any age limits on it, so you can be an adult. You could be the motherless or you could be the fatherless, okay? You could be the person that's on the opposite side, wanting to find ways of how do we heal or how do we make sure that our family structures continue to prosper, okay? If you are wanting to be on the Wheel of Fortune, okay? If you're wanting to bring wealth, generational wealth, if you want to bring, if you want to manifest good things in your life, you want to remove yourself from the matrix, you want to live a freedom life, or you want to live a financial free life, okay, the main thing is if you want your legacy to live on, you must take care of the children, okay? As workers, all right, as entrepreneurs, as hustlers, as business owners, okay, as family structure, it's very important that you pay attention to the younger ones that are coming before you, okay? You could be pregnant at this time, all right, and you're having to bear children on your own. Some of you have even lost children due to sickness, violence, stillborns, of course, assault, killings, homicide. It gets deep, right? But however, the soul never dies. As we remember, the soul never dies. It only transforms and it only moves into a different direction. So you're never alone. A lot of times we were taught that, you know, you're not supposed to connect with the other side. You are not supposed to, I guess, whatever people call it, relive the day. I'm not sure, but in this formation, things have changed, okay? You need your powers, you need your strength, okay? You need messages from the other side to be able to help you maneuver. Yesterday I picked up, as I was out and I was with family members, and I actually went to be with my friend's family, and you know, one thing I've noticed is the children, okay? It was the children. Every time I go out into the world, I always have some type of connection with children, especially indigo children, especially intuitive children. Some children had to be put away in foster care. Okay, maybe you were a foster child. All right, but every child that is born into this world, okay, because as you know, you're just a baby on this planet. You have lived millions and millions and millions of years, okay? So you are just a baby on this planet. And the main thing is, one thing that is a generational curse is being motherless and fatherless. It actually goes against the universal laws, okay? Now, of course, people tend to act or to move. This is not a, excuse me, this is not a reading to harp on or defend, excuse me, or even to chomp down on the ones that have not done. What I am here to do is that you have to make a change, okay? You will not be able to move forward unless you take care of the children. And as the children were in the womb, it wasn't just an embryo. The moment that child, the moment that heartbeat, the moment that cell comes together and turns into a fetus, it is now its own child, okay? Some of you, for whatever personal reasons, all right, maybe you had to get rid of children, maybe you had miscarriages, like I said, maybe you had abortions, stillborns, okay? And so what happens is we still find ourselves in the Five of Pentacles, which is abandonment, okay, impoverish, okay, not having resources, not having family, okay, feeling like people left you behind, feeling like you don't have any money to be able to provide for your loved ones. You don't have the money or the funds to be able to move in the direction of the way of life. You're having to live paycheck to paycheck, okay? You're having to rob Peter to pay Paul, all right? And even if you are receiving child support, as we know, the justice system does not really, they try their best to make it fair. However, you really never truly get justice inside of that, because what it is it's still taken away from the family structure, okay? It still takes away, even if you are a child that was born in wealth, but you had a father or a mother who worked their ass off all day, every day. And so they had to, you know, have a family member watch you, bring in nannies, okay? Bring in brothers and sisters, okay? Some parents couldn't even afford to have babysitters. So you had to be the one to raise your little brothers and sisters, or your older brothers and sisters had to raise you the best that they could with the information that they have. All right, so usually this is dealing with like a family group, group safety, security, the ability to provide for life's necessities, able to maybe like, and it also brings a feeling of fear. Okay, it brings fear and abandonment. All right. So then I hear this thing where they say, well, it's always an excuse. There is no excuse when it comes down to these children. Now, for those who had to go through a termination due to sickness, or because you were raped, molested, then obviously you had your reasons. So this wouldn't necessarily go against that. Okay. However, if you had to go that route, you're still reaping the postpartum and the grief of the child not being physically here, your body going through its traumatic experiences. And so therefore, I just got very emotional. Okay, so this is going to be an emotional read, but when I get emotional, I am not necessarily emotional within myself. I'm also emotional for those who feel this energy and feel those that this message will relate to. So usually it's a form of guilt. Okay, it's a form of being scared to be alive. Okay, so it's very important that you understand the foundation of your family. Even if you're going to create your own family, even if you have your own family, everything you need is right in front of you. What I've learned about being in the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is basically rock bottom. Okay, rock bottom, and not having the means or the resources to be able to. Five of Pentacles. You see this card here? Look at these two. They don't know what to do. You're asking this person. They're having to depend on each other. The dog doesn't even have. You may even have animals. Okay, maybe you're a family, a parent to animals. Okay, because as we know, it's all the same. And see here, the bowl is empty. Your food, you're lacking food supplies. You're lacking resources. Some of you may even have your lights turned out. Okay, it's because you have not developed or you have not healed this chakra. See, chakras have to be healed. And when I was first getting into just healing and spiritual work, I could not understand. It took me almost 2 to 3 years to really truly understand what the Five of Pentacles was. So first, here is where it starts. You at the bottom now. Five of Pentacles is the lower chakra. It's here in your root. It's in your pelvic, in your rectum, your teeth, your spine. Okay, I'm also hearing too, you may have some issues with your back, a lot of spine issues. Okay, these are all in regards to the Five of Pentacles. Teeth issues, all Five of Pentacles, not having the resources, not having the funds to be able to get insurance and go to the doctor and go to a healer. When you go to the hospital, you automatically have a bill. Okay, so when you don't have access to those type of things, you have to get into the holistic side. You have to get into more of the natural resources. Okay, especially if you have EBT or food stamps or some type of government assistance, you have to use that in order to get to your next level, if that is in regards to you. The Five of Pentacles is also a system. Okay, it is also a system that is not meant for you to win. The less you know, the more they can control. The less that you know, the more that you can control. If you are a father, and you have children out in the world that you do not have relationships with, you only come around on holidays, all right, or you pay child support or whatever the case may be, you feel that that is enough to raise a child, knowing that that is not fair game. A lot of these things does not have to do with money. Now we'll get to the money part next, because in order for us to win, let's be real, you have to have money. You have to have resources. You have to be able to feed your community. You have to be able to be in the market. You have to be able to produce work. You have to be able to do these things. And so there is some type of lack mentality to even think that, oh, I'm doing enough. I call, check on my kid. Okay, I pick my baby up from school. Okay, but then what do you do with this child once are you teaching this child? Are you educating this child? Are you feeding it good wealth? Okay, or do we get in the car, is it all rap music and bullshit? What are you actually feeding yourself? You wouldn't know how to operate in this direction unless you knew how to operate within yourself. Because if you're in the Five of Pentacles, then your children are going to be in the Five of Pentacles. So everything that I'm talking about, it starts home, it starts here, it starts in the heart. I'm hearing some of your heart chakras is off. You're unbalanced. You've been betrayed. Okay, there's broken hearts. Okay, it's also what I'm hearing. But in order to get here, you must work. All right, you must do that spiritual work. Okay, in order to get here, you have to have a clear mind first off, and accountability. Where did I go wrong? Okay, because everything, it's not always just the mother or the father. Certain things go back to family lineage. Look at your family. Look where you come from. How was it? Okay, now a lot of us came from Jim Crow babies. Okay, a lot of us came from the Jim Crow baby era. Some of us came from crack baby era. Okay, where drugs were manifested in our communities. And when I say our community, it doesn't matter your color. All right, that's another thing too. If you fall short of this system, that matrix, which is number one, work your ass off. Okay, don't build your own empires. Barely spending time with your children, not allowing your children to work in-home businesses so that when they get older, they already have a family business where they're able to live financial free. And then whatever they decide to do, whether they want to go to college, whether they want to go do whatever it is that their heart desires that they want to do, you will be able to have the resources and the necessities for them to be able to go out into the world and to be able to do every and anything that they're needing to do. When your children at a young age, as they start, you want to go back to childhood. You want to go back. What did I do as a child? What is it that I did? Okay, what is it that I did as a child that helped me with my gifts? Children are born with gifts, okay? It's the system or it's the parents or wherever the case may be that don't operate on those gifts. They just abandon them, and then it goes into what we call a miscarriage. All right. So what we do is you have to go within. What are my gifts, Spirit? Okay, first off, how did I get here? How did I get into this situation? Why? And the Five of Pentacles can be an ongoing cycle. This Five of Pentacles can last for years, even decades. It can last for a very long time. And if you don't break that curse, then therefore it rolls over into children. I mean, you see grandparents that still living in project homesteads. You see grandparents that, God forbid, had to go into nursing homes, putting them in the hands of others. Okay, because why? They either didn't have the resources, they didn't have that family foundation to say, okay, you're gonna do this. It has to become a time with teamwork. Okay. Also, too, if you had a child and you know that the situation was just a one-night stand, okay, you really just laid down because maybe at that point you felt abandoned and you felt that, okay, having sex with this person or loving this person, this will provide everything that I needed. And then you end up in the Five of Pentacles. You end up back abandoned in where you come from, starting at rock bottom. You're teaching your sons to, instead of, at the end of the day, a man will always be a man within. Okay. And yes, you will run, even though you are not with the child's father. There are so many fathers that are around you, and community wise, if you don't have that, you need to open your resources, see what's all out there, that understand what it's like to be in that predicament. Okay. So also too, family foundation, whether if it's multiple fathers, whether if it's multiple mothers, understanding that spending one-on-one with that child, okay, spending one-on-one time with that child and teaching and loving, what can heal this love? All right, what can heal a lot of things? Just love. When your child out there wilding, getting suspended, getting in trouble, all right, they're in the room making bombs or whatever the case, or bombs over Baghdad, I don't know. But at the end of the day, what do? You stop and you hold yourself accountable, okay? Because a lot of these things run through genetics. A lot of these mishaps run through genetic traits, okay? So If all you know is my mom, all she did was work. She was a nurse. She was this. She was that. And all she did was work. Okay. Now for some, okay, if that's all she did, then it was really hard for Mom Dukes to really come home, and after she has to cook a whole meal and make sure that your homework is done, making sure you have a bath, making sure you're ready for the next day, just to get back into that same matrix to do it all over again. That is not financial freedom. That is not freedom. Opening your horizons, traveling, okay? Taking your children to see the world, that you have to expand for your clarity. You have to be able to expand in those areas. Only reaching out to your child on a holiday is unacceptable. And what happens to people like this? You will forever be in the Five of Pentacles. You will never have shit. Now, for some of you, I do believe that, you know, because of your mistakes or because of the person that you decided to be with or lay with, you knew from the beginning, if you were already taken care of within yourself, it's an equal give and take. When things become unbalanced, okay? When things become unbalanced, there is no teamwork here, all right? So a lot of you that have this ideal marriage and commitment or family structure, knowing how you walked into this situation, if this person had no intention, you will know if you're meant to be a wife. You'll know if you're meant to be a husband, because it's already embarked in your DNA. So what happens is the father or the mother tends to, I'm gonna take this child this way, I'm gonna take this child this way, but yet and still you never build on the family foundation. So where are you taking this child? Right back to the Five of Pentacles, right back to the same family that you knew better than it, right? Or you knew that, damn, I'm looking around and I'm in a cage. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you're laying down and your mate, or when you're laying down every night, that you are cultivating these thoughts, okay? Your gifts, okay? And birthing in those. Let's get to it. All right, so here we go. So here we are in an illusion. A lot of this shit is illusion that you're seeing, and you have to break free from that. Arguments are only caused to mislead. Okay, some of you, because your root chakra is off and because your heart chakra is off, it causes heart attacks. It causes illness, long illness. It causes abandonment. It causes the rectum, bones, legs, and things to distraught. Why? Because that's what that Five of Pentacles is all about. King of Cups. Yes, and though you are still loving, okay? You have that loving nature, all right? And it's honestly, it doesn't matter if your work is taken away from you spending time with your family, the ones that's going to actually make sure your legacy continue on. You need a new job, or you need a new structure. You need a new way to be able to provide for your family. This new year that we're walking into, these things will be changing. The things that glimmers and glistens, it's like, yeah, you have a nice house, but you can barely pay the bills. Yeah, you have a nice car, but then you have car issues. Yeah, you have a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes, but your children are not learning. Okay, your children are not being taken care of. So then you put the weight on the mother or the father, and because you're not in the household, you really think in your mind that you're doing the best that you can, knowing every night before you lay down, you are not at peace. There's no way you could be at peace. There's no way you could be at peace. And there's no way that you can be in 10 places at one time. So when you've brought into the Five of Pentacles, you don't have a place to stay. You don't have a shelter over your head. So then you find yourself getting with someone that can possibly provide that to you, because your mother either lacked it, your father either lacked it. And so now you're trying to partner up with people so that they can free you from the chambers and the pits of poverty. But it does not work that way. You must cultivate your own gifts. The North Node is in Taurus, and Taurus is here to bring you your gifts, and it's longevity, something that is not overnight. It is not overnight. Okay, it's not overnight. It's going to take years. It's going to take this is probably the way it is for the rest of your life until you get into the space of change. Seven of Swords, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to people, you're trying to scheme, you're trying to steal, but you say that, oh, well, as long as my family eat, my family gonna eat, but you done stole from a person that worked their ass off to really feed their family. So then you find yourself into robbing Peter and paying Paul. Or you're finding yourself like, I need help. You always ask the people for help because you don't know how to cultivate your own gifts to be able to provide within themselves. Now let me tell you about these children. Eight of Pentacles. Food. That's another thing. What are you eating? What are you putting in your diet? What are you feeding your children? Chips, juice, bullshit? And all these things are not even meant to help you. They have actually provided resources for you to be able to go into a Deep Roots, a Whole Foods, to get fresh food, rooted food, still eating frozen food out the bag. That's no good. The more the food go through the food chain, okay, the more the food has to go through many packages and hands, the energy is already messed up. The energy is died. Okay, and that's what's being placed inside of you. So food handlers, okay, that's also what I'm seeing. Food handlers. All right, mothers, if you're pregnant, okay, it's very important that you are eating the proper foods. That's proper to your body. Okay, consult with your midwife. Okay, at home births, all of these things, man. Be careful with at home births. Everybody that's touching you in your body, your womb, and it's coming out. Everybody does not have good intentions for you. Having laying on your back, having them deliver children on your back. These are things that are still, they're causing turmoil as the baby come through the womb immediately. You find out that your young child just got pregnant. She's 16, she's 17. And instead of you helping and guiding and nurturing that baby, because if you nurture that baby, then the baby gets nurtured. Okay? So it's not a time to stray away from your daughter. It's not a time to abandon her. How could you abandon your child that is already abandoned? Because that's what it was for you. So you feed her to the wolves, or you feed him to the wolves, and you leave him out into the world that has to teach him. And then and when they're vulnerable like that, they're going to run into evil. They're going to run into, because people are here to play on your heartstrings, to play on your mental. It's called control and mind games. And so it puts you in a Nine of Swords. You stuck, your thought, you have to have a free mind to be able to think. And there's no way in your mind that you have this guilt in your heart, and you're guilty about your actions. What steps are you going to take to actually, I don't want to hear an excuse of, well, I couldn't get to it because the family, that's bullshit. There's laws. Everybody has to follow universal law. I don't care who you are, how rich, you're a judge, you're a lawyer. It doesn't matter. We all follow universal laws. It's the law of the land. So you fight, you get yourself together. So when it's time for you, and don't wait years. Come on now. This Five of Pentacles shit could be done in 6 months, 3 to 6 months. This doesn't take long at all. So if you're still bullshitting, you're abandoning your family. You're abandoning the mother that birthed and carried the child that you have in your world, just for you to get the child, and then continuously to treat the child in the way that, because you have hatred towards the parent, you have hatred towards the mother. And so you instill these things because this is your perception now. This is now your perception. You mad because you laid down with the hoe? Well, you knew that it was all fun and games when you laid down with her, though. She wasn't that much of a bad person, or he wasn't that much of a bad person when you laid down with them. But things change. Because why? You should have had the discernment beforehand, speaking from experience. Okay? There's no way I could talk about something that I am not familiar or aware of. There's no way I could sit here and speak about these things, okay? Unless I actually experienced it. And what did I do? I held myself accountable. Okay, well, why did you lay down with this person? Even if this person hid things from you, or they made it seem one way when it really wasn't, I still lacked the discernment because I should have known better, right? And so you pick up the pieces. You don't stay stuck here. You just go to a higher judgment. A lot of times when we in the Five of Pentacles, it just means you need to have a higher judgment. It's all about our thought process, because our thoughts is our perceptions, and everything that's in our mind, we are manifesting that daily. So you look for, and then you don't speak up. You hold it in. So you're dealing with your sacral chakra too, the womb, genitals, appendix, bladder, hip, kidney failure, ovaries, kidneys shutting down, because guess what? When you stress, what do? You drink, you smoke, you put the toxins inside of your body because you're so stressed. And then they put these things out here for you just because they know you're going to spend it. Now you're spending your last dime on that just to say, hey, I just need to feel good. Now, one thing about me, I'm not going to tell you whether to do what you do, right? Because I feel like some of you are able to actually ascend in these realms you go into when you're either high or you're under influence, or even when you're just by yourself and you're meditating. You're able to go into these realms. Sometimes you got to cut completely off. The reason why you're stuck in these contracts because you allowed yourself to be stuck in these contracts. Your loyalty lies somewhere else other than your child. So you may have to read. You may have to do some self-help. Okay? You may have to cut off the world. You may have to turn down everything in order to get this right. You have a plan. You have a mission. And all you have to do is execute it. You're dealing with sexual abuse, trauma, rape, gender issues, not being able to say no. When somebody's pressing up against you, you could feel your body shut down because as a little boy, as a little girl, you were traumatized by that. Somebody molested you. Somebody touched you in the wrong way, and they ripped that apart. And so when you try to go tell your mother, you try to go tell your father, especially if it was another sibling, they didn't want that secret getting out. They didn't want you to tell nobody, because then that's when CPS get involved. And then the mother or the father finds themselves, they don't want to be held accountable for it. They don't want their family structure to be gone, because at the end of the day, if you bring certain people into your home, they can come take your children. You didn't want that. So instead, and if this has happened, right, then it's very important that you work on these chakras, and that you heal these chakras so that you don't, and open the there has to be truth and honesty. Everybody don't want to be true. Everybody don't want to be honest. They just want to wipe it up under the rug and act like it never happened. When uncle was touching on you, or the babysitter down the street, she was 14, you was probably like 9, and she was doing nasty things to you, touching on you. Stop allowing everybody to watch your child. If you have a job that's requiring you and you don't have the support system, meaning people that you trust, people that you love, people that you know love your child, has the best interest to the child, you will know. You will know. Okay? All because you're chasing a dollar so that you can provide a roof over your head in order to get to the next step. You have plenty of resources. All right, and you have to tap in. A lot of your gifts are in dormant status. You lost sight of who you are. You don't know thyself. All right, so then gender issues come into play. Okay, so if you have a child that obviously likes the same sex, okay, so what do you do for a child like that? You love on them. You support them. Because if you don't do that, then they run out here and they dibble and dab with all these people, and then they receive diseases, all these sexual parties, undercover meetings, and then your baby is sick, and then it's too late. Because then now we have to work on, okay, this person may have HPV, this person may have AIDS, is very sick. It's very sick. Not teaching your child about puberty. Okay, not teaching your child about their own body and how it grows and how it moves. Sticking your child in front of a game all day just so you can work. Trust me, this is a community thing. This is a community. This is what we have to do as a community. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? And so, and as an emperor, right? You don't really have the means your damn self. Why? Because you never took the time to put in the work and the dedication to really go out here and get it on your own. Then you partnering up with people that does not have your best interest. Your business is falling. You just put your name onto something for the image, and the whole time you jumped out there to own a business, and you don't even really know how to cultivate or even hire those, or hire the ones that you really need in your business. Not the ones that just want to work. No, you want to put together a phoenix. You want to put together a plan that everybody's involved and that can help. Now, of course, this is a pretty broad reading. So you would need a book of personal reading to actually figure out the details and figure out the secrets behind it all. Where do we start? The Five of Pentacles. That's usually family stuff. That's usually things that happen in your home. Okay? You're in and out of jobs. Why? Because you're going to keep running into that, because at the end of the day, no job that is, unless it's your career, okay, and unless it's, something that's a family, but if you're just going out here and working for something with no mission, no plan, it will always fail. How do you plan to heal your children when things get sick? If you can't, so if you can't make it to the doctor, what are you going to do to heal them? But you don't believe in a holistic way. You don't believe in magic. You don't believe in certain things. Well, at that time, it is meant for you to stay. If that door is closed, you have help. God will show you resources each and every day. But if you're stuck in dormant status, your head down, you're worried, you're stressed, you don't even give your mind time to open up. Now, for the child that has experienced this child has a great, I'm picking up children that they go through certain, especially through a birth chart. When you think of a birth chart, at certain ages, they will experience certain things, okay? They will experience life-changing events, okay? Whether you do it or not, if you're not in proximity with your child, you pray. Prayer is magic. Number one, prayer is magic. So you say, God, until I get to my baby, I ask that you make sure that this person is around the right people, and people want the best interest for them, okay? People that can teach them, love on them, cater to them, care for them. Because that generation has to turn around and do it for you. Cussing out your mama, blaming your mama from heartache. You feel like your child keeps disrespecting you, okay? But just listen to you. Sometimes you have to listen. Sometimes you just have to let somebody just vent it out, and you just have to listen to the context of the message. The Moon, a lot of secrets. Also, too, knowing a person's intentions before you can know. First off, if you're really smart. When I say smart, if you have discernment, if you're intuitive, you can tell anything about a person within the first 3 minutes of a conversation. You can tell if you're gonna date this person, marry this person, or be with this person in the first 3 minutes of the conversation. Period. You can. You know why? Because you know the moon. The moon is what's beneath us, what's behind us, what's hidden. Okay, and so you have to understand energetic fields. Okay, let's see about this person. How did this person talk? How did this person move? Okay, let me see this family. Let me hear a little bit about your background. Where did you come from? Okay, how you feeling? Then you take a look at their environment. Okay, cool. All right. You'll learn a lot just by listening to a person within 3 minutes of a conversation. If you're worried about a child, they're going to be okay. 8 of Wands, they're going to be okay. Something is going to pick up extremely fast. If this person is not your person, this person is possibly land with different types of people because they don't even know who they are within themselves. All right. So then what they do, they rob you and they steal from your essence. See, there's energy vampires out here that knows how to rob, steal, kill, and destroy. And I don't care what they stand for. I don't care. They can throw you the Bible. They can throw you anything, but you can still see right through them that you ain't right. And so you abandon them. Abandonment isn't always a bad thing. Let me tell you why. Because in abandonment, you learn your gifts. You learn your creativity. You even find yourself in a community, and it's meant for you to figure your way out. It's just a maze. It's just a maze that you have to figure out. You're moving to a higher perspective. You're moving to a higher potential. And most of the times, let's be real, the gifted ones are the ones that done been through hell and back. Children also go through initiations as well. As children, as child. As a child, adolescence, yeah. They go through it. But they're still carried and they're still going to become victorious. There's a point in your life and a point in your birth chart that you will begin to open new doors and new domains. So if you look around and say, well, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. Okay, so what are you going to do to get it? What are you going to do to get it? You're just going to sit there and keep complaining and saying, I don't have it, I don't have it. Also, too, there's trickery. If you do not have the means to provide, don't do it. Some people lack power, okay? They lack power, so they feel like, well, if I snatch this from you, if I don't help you, if I don't do this, that's okay. You move on, because at the end of the day, they're stuck. Think about that mentality. Think about the people that treated them that way. Think about the people that couldn't help them. Well, they ain't nobody help me, so that's your MO. But you got all these gifts, all these you done made it. God done show you the other side. You financially free. You can do whatever, but instead, you don't want to help people. It doesn't have to necessarily be your family. It doesn't have to necessarily be that. It could just be the fact that you have is giving and receiving. So you get rejected. You reject the child because you reject the child because you hate the mistake or you hate the decision of what you did when you laid down to have this child. Let's keep it real. So you take it out on the child by keeping the child away from the parent, by keeping the child away from the mom, by telling the child heinous things to the child to try to trick them and to make them messed up. You just leaving your child. Okay, so that's another thing too. You have children by different women. You think it's okay to take a child from their real mother, from their mother, and go over there and raise a child with another woman that you don't even know who you done laid down with. If this bitch is evil and deceiving you, and always want to do magic this and just want to fuck you over and you want to leave your child, that's abandonment. You're doing the same thing your mother, your parent did to you. You have to break that cycle. You have to shift it. You have to. And at some point, you have to stand up, be a woman, be a man, put on your big girl drawers and understand the game and the cards that was played. Period. It's enough of this bullshit. Instead of teaching teaching your son and your daughter how to cultivate their sexual creativity in a different way, instead you give them abortion pills or you give them Plan B. That's just as worse as the same. That's just as worse. You got to get them out that community aspect. You got to get them out of that community thought process, that lack mentality. You have to. Or instead, and that's another thing too. So then you get into greed. Then you get into envy. Then you get into the seven deadly sins. You think everything's about trickery and I'm a one-up and, oh, I hate you and da-da-da. That's on you. That's your heart. Also, too, when y'all getting readings about lovers and who you like, pull on. First question I always ask, tell me about their heart. Let me see the heart. Let me see your heart. Let me see it, period. Let me see your heart. I always go to the heart. You know why? Because the heart gonna tell you if they have love or they have hatred, period. And if a heart chakra's out, then they damn sure don't got nothing for you. You will never be pleased. You will never be satisfied because you have not did the work within yourself. My heart just started booming. So you deal with resentment, grief, self-centeredness, loneliness, forgiveness, compassion, hope, and trust. All of these things take place in that heart chakra. So if you went through a situation where you were rejected by a man or you were rejected by a woman, or you went through a very traumatic experience with the woman, so now you feel like, oh, you're a womanizer. Now you get to hating women. You can. There's no way in this world that if you do not respect the woman that birthed you, the woman that put you into this world, I don't care if you had a bad experience with the woman, you have to understand what that Five of Pentacles really is. Okay, so look at what your mom went through. Look at what your dad went through. So did they know better? Of course, we always have a time where we can change things and we can move it into a different direction. But instead, you didn't do the self-work to get where you need to be. So then what happens? Your money messed up. Because if you're not right within self, your money is all toe up. Now, also, too, for those who are starting a new business, who are entering the market, What do you have that are you? What do you have? What have you created? Woo! Let me get into it. What have you created from your own possessions, your own gift? What can you give to somebody without stealing the thoughts and stealing from others? Because guess what? When you steal, now some of you have to do what you got to do to get to the next step, so that you say. But when you have to steal, okay, and I'm talking about gifts and ideas, okay, this is not necessarily, we'll get into products and stuff later, tangible things. This is all like, if you took someone's idea and you took it and ran with it, it would immediately backfire, especially if this gift was given to this person through DNA, through DMT, period. It was already embedded in them. And just like children, they're already embedded with certain DNA. So whether if you're around this child or not, whether if you're with the child, whether if you see the child, whether if you don't, this child already has a royal DNA inside of them. And what happens is, it is your job to get with these children. And even if you're a teacher, social worker, okay, you're working in a children's hospital, okay, you have to have that one-on-one connection with the child to even just show them that whatever that they're believing in is word. Because guess what? When you started singing and you got in that mirror, you were singing, what your mom would tell you? Girl, sit down somewhere. Girl, go on somewhere now. And you shun the child from their gift. How dare you? How dare you? Your child is intuitive. Your child hear and see things that you don't. Why? Because children are the closest thing to the veil. And the first thing you want to do is call it witchcraft. Oh, that's a demonized child. Now, don't get me wrong. There is children that is born into this world that are on a mission. Every child has a mission. And so you shun the child from their own gifts. Why? Because you don't want them to see the truth. Why? Because you don't want people to look at your child as crazy. Why? Because people did that to you. Now remember, gifts and stuff come through DNA. You're adopting children just to shit on them because all you wanted was the money. You will get karma for that. And that will backfire on you real bad. Real bad. Some deaths are not fast. Some of them are slow deaths. Lifelong lessons death. So I carry away my darkness by my strength. You have enough strength. You got to build strength, okay? If you're trying to let go of these addictions, you're trying to let go of people, you got to build strength. It's hard. Decisions is hard. But the more you build on it, the more you will become stronger. No evil thing whatsoever should have no dominion forever and ever. It would never have dominion on you for long. This is a mindset away. Times and seasons are in your body. So therefore, this time, like prime example, what I say that is, this time next year will be history. And then you look back and you be like, damn. See, have you ever just been through a really fucked up time in your life where you were just in a maze, you was in this illusion, and you just feel like you just could not get out of it. You just couldn't have a coach. You couldn't have okay. So if you are on a higher perspective, you are ascending, you will have to abandon people. You will have to leave people behind. Now, before you go, because there's going to be a time where God is going to send you to an elevation that other people cannot be around. Because guess what? If you got to keep coming down a little too long, then you basically turn back around. You turn into a pillar of salt. You cannot learn there. You cannot grow there. You have to expand and keep going. Now, what you do is you sow the seeds to those around you. Okay, you go ahead and plant those little seeds. Teaching your children, teaching your child, showing your babies how to cook and clean for themselves. All right, these are things that we shouldn't have to be grown ass adults, and we're trying to figure out like, damn, why you don't clean up? Why you don't do this? Why you don't? Because it was never taught to them. You did everything for the child. You didn't teach. You just like, I'ma just do it. And then you wear your body out. Then you wear your time out. And then you don't have time for yourself. And then you can't get right. You have the ability to make the weeping one stand. People talk about this all the time, okay? But all that's felt, this all is intuitively. You really think in your right mind because, oh, well, my daddy wasn't there for me, so fucking what? So what? So what? What do you mean by that? But you have a child now that you have just produced and you get a new start. Look at how the way you treat your daughter's mother. Intuitively. This is I'm not talking about what you do in front of people. I'm not talking, because guess what? You can lie all day, people gonna see it, period. That's why there's people out here that's really dead ass intuitive and they have discernment, and they won't see. Some people will stop you in your track and be like, hey yo, stop this lying, man, stop this cap, stop, it's enough. Then you get mad and you want to revenge, and I'm a why? Because I told you the truth. Why? Because you told them the truth. You portray this image, and so what happens is you betray the image and you keep betraying it and keep betraying it, and then guess what? You will fail. You will fall, because those are the ones that around you are surpassing you, because you got to keep the devil in his hole, nigga. And that's the truth. You got to keep him in his hole. So what is your energy towards the person that you, even if this person could be cruel, evil, or whatever the case may be, you say, I know. I did not learn that until I experienced them. But what can I do to help? And like I said, things do run through DNA. And it's not all you can do is sow the seeds. That's it. Because a child's going to grow up and do whatever and anything, whatever they're destined to do. And so if you are lacking supplies, food, I am supplied with food in abundance as much as I desire. I don't know how we're going to eat today. Oh, I'm going to make sure I don't know how we're going to eat today. Well, then you're probably not going to know how you're going to eat today. Today, we're going to have as much food. Today, I'm going to have as much as abundance. Today, I'm going to make sure my children have all the meals that they need. You may have to change your cooking habits. You may have to start meal prepping, okay? Or you may have to buy you some beans and weenies. You may have to do whatever it is to get to the next step. Home, food, shelter, all of these things have to be taken care of, period. And so when you think about it, can you really ask yourself, I made the weeping one stands whose faces was covered over and they were filled with misery. How could you help them if you're filled with misery? But you worried about getting in front of the world? Fuck them people, man. Don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you show up for yourself every day. You're doing this for you, your family, and 100,000 more people out there in this big old world that needs to hear your voice, that needs to hear your experience. Telling your truth really helps others. I was angry at one point in my life. I was so angry. And I honestly had to realize I was angry with my existence. I was born into a family that nobody was like me. I look different. I sound different. I move different. And because of who I was abandoned, you know. I went through molestation because I didn't have the family to, and it's not to pull blame on anybody. I'm not. And so when I did try to admit to it and I did try to tell people, I was immediately hushed. And instead, they said, oh, she a demon child. She this, she that. Whole time I just knew better. And I would not allow, I was already born with the gift. I was already born with it instilled in my body. See, we all are from different outlets and avenues, okay? There's people on the other side, there's people in higher worlds that you ain't even met yet that you're a part of, okay? Let not evil happen to me. Evil will not happen to me. Why? Because I said so. And I have risen my vibration high enough to know, like, okay, I see what this one is. This is just a little game right here. Okay, we're gonna maneuver through that one. No problem. Cool. It's a slap in the face for somebody to ask you, what do you need? Knowing. Okay. It's a slap in the face to ask somebody, what do you need? How can I help? This and that. And they tell you and you shun them. You walk away. You never stand up. You never look out for this person. You don't, even if you don't have the tangible things, you can even teach them something. Teachings are the greatest gift. And so what you do, you abandon the person. And then you laugh about it. Like, kick, that's what you get. That's what you get. What's funny? What's funny about somebody's karma? Because karma don't end easy. Karma is not easy. It brings death, First off, it brings, even if it doesn't go through you, it goes through your children. So you will experience this somehow, some way. You ask the person what they need just to see their weak spot, and they play on that. They prey on your weak spot. That's because the devil need a host. It needs a host, okay? Evil needs a host. It needs something to, so if it can't vibrate off of you, it got to go somewhere else. It's like a zzz. It has to go somewhere else. It has to find a host. Let your enemies be given over to destruction, okay? That is not your job. That is not your battle. Now, when it's time to stand up front row and let a motherfucker know what time it is, of course. Because you have the strength and the power to defeat all. Especially if you know that somebody is trying to torment you and tear you down and get in your head and make it impossible for you to work. Making it impossible, making things extremely hard because things are harder for them, instead of being the one to say, let me fix this whole vibration. Because if I fix this vibration, then everybody win. Everybody win. How can you perform these duties with command? How can you do that? You got to purify yourself first. You got to purify. You got to get right. Gotta get right. And it's okay to it's really okay if you listen. Everything takes a process. If you're a drinker, drink wine. Okay, wine is for the ancestors anyway. It's for the spirits to help you come in and help you. It's an offering. Okay, always understanding too that everything is not going to be peaches and cream, but it's literally a mindset away. How can you be a loyal service to your people? If you want this phoenix here, right? You want this wheel of fortune. How can you be a servant to those and to others? How can you be this servant here? I listen to a lot of, I don't listen to too many readings because I'm very, I have an ancient spirit. Okay, I just come in and I do my work, and then that's what it is. But I do come across readings here and there, and if you're feeding your spirit about karmic and masculine and divine and all this bullshit, man, let me tell you something. You're going to end up just like them. What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your brain? What are you feeding your children? It's all a feed. The body it has to be fed. And you want to think, all you want to hear is about, oh, well, what they going through. You looking for somebody karma, and you look around and your shit fucked up. Yeah. That's why you looking for somebody else karma, because you need somebody to pick on. Instead of picking on yourself, pick on you. Pick on yourself. Okay, all right, I fucked up. Okay, so what we going to do to bounce back? You don't stay in these positions. You learn from them. And let me tell you something. It's a process. Deep breathing. Deep breathing. When you can feel the energy, a lot of these energies ain't even your energy. But people know how to bring you energies. If you don't, you can, let me tell you something about me. I can feel the energy before the phone even ring. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can know if it's trickery. I can know if it's, I already feel it. Why? Because I'm intuitive like that. I'm an empath. I can already tell. You got to understand timing, place, energies. You got to understand all that. Literally the universal laws. You could be sitting in your room and a bird come tell you, toot, 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 toot. But if you know energy, you can feel exactly what the bird is telling you. That's universal. And here's another thing too. When you're dealing with the Wheel of Fortune, you have to understand, I have increased my wealth except through my own possessions. My own possessions. My own gifts. That's how you win the Wheel of Fortune. That's why a lot of big businesses and large companies, they begin to fall. Why? Because the rich is only meant to keep the rich in center instead of coming off. Somebody had to come help you. And so therefore the greatest seed is giving that seed to others so that they can help themselves. They can help their families. They can help their grandchildren. And they can all, that's how you help a nation. You get more bees with honey when you help others. All right. So I'm gonna put a little oracle for you. I know this message was a lot, but I have been meditating on this energy for a very long time. I've been meditating on this energy since I got back since I came home last night from being out of town and making that drive back. And I was just realizing okay. And it's crazy because if you fix yourself, if you get yourself together, then you will attract what you're looking for. I always I always wanted more so of a soul family or a family that's like-minded, right? And everybody I kind of dealt with, I realized like, damn, they family fucked up, or they treated you this way, or they always made you the outsider because of the way you look, or because of the way you act, because you real and you true, or if you even came from a space where maybe you had a hard not life. But instead of understanding that person, you just go ahead and criticize them, or you go ahead and cast judgment on them. Wait, who are you? Who are you? Now, you cannot provide love in areas that does not have the love, because then it's like self-torture. Then it's self-sabotage, right? You self-sabotaging yourself, trying to make a person feel and think and be on the same page as you. So then you let that go, and then you find yourself with someone that really can give you that lover's energy, real, true, divine love, like the lovers, literally one soul, seriously. So no matter what we go through, no matter what our children go through, we will always stick together. We will always be at peace within each other. Man, I've met the most awesome people over the last week. I've met at least, and to go to somebody else's family, okay, because I'm kind of separated from my family at this time. But to go see other family members and how much of a bond and how loving and how peaceful they are and how nurturing this family is to you, no matter where you come from, no matter how many children you have, no matter, they understand your aura because you have attracted that. See, it's a village. We don't mind. It takes a village, but what do your village look like? Who do you have your children around that's really ready taking care of your children? If you don't trust nobody watching your children, get a work from home business. Stay at home. And I'm not saying work from home where you're on the line and you're working for another company to the point that you got to make your kids sit in a room for 5 hours and be quiet, and it's bringing you stress. That's not what I'm talking about. All right, so it says, expect a powerful change. Yeah, this message it's a spell on it. Let me tell you that. It's a spell on this message. And you're going to expect a powerful change. Okay? You're going to expect a powerful change. A new start is coming. Thank God. Praise God. Right? Thank you, Atten. And take time to breathe out. Explore. Okay? Just take a break. Just take a breather and get right. Get within self and be like, okay, what is it, God? Because I'm looking around. I'm seeing people surpass me. I'm seeing people able to enjoy their life. And for some reason, I can't. Also, too, worry about your life. Now, use others as inspiration, of course. I don't know what I was getting. That was... Sorry. I was looking for something. Oh, here we go. I'm going to pull you a self-care deck real quick. What can you do? Because I like physical things. I like to be able to... But you got to believe in it, though. You got to understand the transition. If you don't understand chakras, you don't understand healing, you don't understand colors, you don't understand hues, you don't understand the body, you don't understand the brain, the mental, the cortex, you don't understand the paradox, you don't understand the vortex either, you know, start there. Overall, okay, aroma, it said meditate. Come on. That's what that take time to breathe out is. You need to meditate, go home, go center, go within. Aromatherapy, get you some incense, get you some flowers, get you some something that smell good, candles, soy candles that smell good, okay? Get you whatever you need to put you at peace and put you back at one, all right? Create. I'm also hearing too, so draw. Maybe some of you are artists. Draw your plans. I'm hearing draw it out, all right? But there has to be a change, man. And if you cannot force nobody to do anything, right? But it's best that because if you understand that this child is a certain DNA, then it's very best that you get with this child. Honesty. The problem with a lot of people is you want to hide the truth from your children. You want to try to put against the past instead of owning it, like having accountability. Now, people that you're dealing with, they don't have accountability. But guess what? Children are very smart. Children can see. And even if they can't, they will. It's not your job to, I say, be honest. Keep your honesty. But don't have hatred. Because God knows the difference too. When you're trying to corrupt the child versus you're trying to educate and teach a child. There's no way in the world that if a son was abandoned, there's no reason in the world while your son, if a father abandoned a child, there shouldn't be no reason why the child is still abandoned. That makes sense? No reason. Because you fix that issue, you heal that problem, you heal that child so that they don't have to go through that type of misery. Because guess what? You don't take care of your kids, you stress, long way in hell. Your intuition is haunted. You're clouded by judgment, and then you find yourself always faking the funk. You find yourself always trying to show up, trying to fake some shit. You're always trying to fake it. Just be real. That's what's wrong with everybody. Just can't just be real. Okay, everybody they don't have it in them. They don't have integrity. They don't have truth. They don't have honesty, especially if the heart chakra is the 3 of Swords. If the heart chakra is off, then there's no way in this right mind or in your right mind that this person have any type of love for you or your child, because they, number one, don't love their damn self. So they produce hatred. All right. So you could have been anywhere in the world, home intuitives, but you decided to be here with me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, hit the description box below. And from this point on, peace and blessings to you. I'll be back.